Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to be talking today about Matthew chapter 14, verse 22. It is the story of when Jesus walked on water. So, immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side while he sent the crowds away. After he had sent the crowds away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. And when it was evening, he was there alone. But the boat was already a long distance from the land, battered by the waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, he came to them walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "Is it a ghost?" And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." Peter said to him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." And Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came towards Jesus. But seeing the wind, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and took hold of him and said to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" So I wanted to talk about doubt today because in the past, doubt for me has been a major issue. Every time somebody gave me a prophecy or said, like, "Thus saith the Lord," immediately doubt would come into my mind. Essentially, like that, I would just get scared that, the things that they were saying, the things that God was telling me, the things that God was promising me was not going to come to pass. So, the last video I talked about how, I had all these past struggles that God had to heal me from, especially the spirit of rejection. Okay. So I had all of that stuff. And I mentioned that when my husband came to me and was like, "Hey, guess what? I'm your husband." I did not believe him. I doubted. And it was really weird because we were at like a concert one night. It was like a Christian concert, and it was a woman sitting in front of me. I didn't know this woman. I came to this concert. There is, hundreds of people there. And that was during the phase where, me and him were kind of like just technically dating, when he kept saying, I believe that you're my wife. The Lord told me you were my wife. And simultaneously, this stranger turns around, and I'm sitting there before the Christian concert. It was like a praise and worship time. And she turns around to me and she says, "The person that you are seeing is your husband. God said he was your husband and you're going to marry him." And I was like, she said that, and I remember immediately sitting down. I sat down. I was like praising, yeah, da 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 da, and then after the song, it kind of gets quiet, and before they go into the next song, and then the lady just turns around and just drops that little bit on me, like ta da da, and I was just like, what? My phone is running out of batteries. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. And I remember after that lady, she wasn't the only person. I was like, because I told the Lord, I was like, "Lord, I need confirmation after confirmation. You're going to have to confirm it a few times." And that's what he did. And a lot of that he did through strangers, people who didn't even know me, people who were like walking past and was like, "That's your husband?" Like, it was just like, it was a lot of that. So I had told the Lord, I was like, "Lord, at this point, we had been dating for a while, and I was like, Lord, you're really going to have to tell me. It's great that other people are telling me this, but you really have to tell me." So he gave me this dream. It was January 13th, 2011, 5:30 a.m. People were telling me that Jerron and I were supposed to be married, which for real they were, random strangers, that maybe he was, or people were telling me that Jerron and I were supposed to be married. And I was doubting that maybe he wasn't the one for me. Little by little, sorry, their comments started to create doubt. I saw Jesus, and he said that the spirit of doubt is like seeds being placed inside your heart. He showed me one, and I was fine. I said, man, I'm doing pretty good. If I only had one seed, I was like, that ain't that bad. Then he showed me my heart suspended. So he kind of suspended my heart in midair. And he said, here is one. Was one seed in there. And then he said, now here is a lifetime of seeds. And there were so many seeds lodged inside my heart that I could not tell what it was anymore. It didn't even look like a heart. It looked like just this clump of seeds. It looked gross because you couldn't even see a heart at that point. It just looked like seeds on top of seeds on top of seeds amassed into this like large clump. If a heart is a pretty shaped heart, it just looked like a crammed in like shape of just seeds that was kind of look distorted. I was walking on a dock and a man was waiting at the end. I approached him and said, what's happened to my life? On the left side, he showed me a picture of Jerron and another woman. And I said, are they going to be happy together? He said, of course. Don't they look happy? I said, what about me? I said, he said, you will be forever married to your career at the time. And he disappeared. And my last thought was, no, I can't let that happen. I don't want that to happen. And the moral of the story was the spirit of doubt is very skilled in making you doubt the words that God has spoken over your life. Always believe God's word. In prayer the same day, God said that he would make my heart new and to trust in him. And I believe the words of the Creator. And he did just that. Be blessed, guys.